Yes, I think I'm alright. So I'm live on YouTube. Welcome back, everybody. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm still going to do the podcast. I don't know when I'm going to do it, but it's something that I've been thinking about because I have a lot of stuff to talk about, honestly. A lot more things I want to go more in depth on than a YouTube video, so I would definitely like to do that. So I don't think they're going to be able to hear y'all. I don't want them to, because that would be a whole nother thing. Yeah, I'd have to go into the settings and like change a few things, but let's go ahead and do a team deathmatch. What's up, Haley? Reacted Tooth here in the stream. Has the Army changed their APFT system yet? No, they haven't, Brandon. They have not. Alright. 16, man. 16. Yeah, it's going up. For those of you, like, since you can't really see the stats or everything, I'm growing at about 150 to 200 a day, which is mind blowing because it's the second fastest. The only other military YouTuber on all of YouTube that is growing faster than that is Nava the Beast. So I'm like, shoot, but he's got like 200 and something thousand subscribers. I'm like, man, I only got like 16, and I'm like, well, thank you.
Move out.
Thank you.
Eliminate the enemy. Stay wary. Pick your shots.
Thanks, guys.
Pass them on the left. Kill them all.
Yeah, that's kind of the goal. Oh, really? Yeah, pretty much the goal. Whenever I started, I'm trying to kill this guy. The goal whenever I started was basically whenever I joined a couple years ago, I had all these tons and tons of questions. I'm sure a ton of other people had, and I was looking up stuff and I couldn't find anything. And I basically just decided to, once I joined, to make some videos to help out everybody else who was just like me, who was going through this weird, crazy process joining the military. It's like, crap, what's it like, you know? Because basic training is, I'm telling you, it's different, you know. And I didn't have anybody. You have? Oh, okay, gotcha. But oh, okay. Gotcha. Ooh, I'm gonna kill you. And that's another reason that I'm doing Snapchat and Instagram, because, I mean, I get probably, I don't know, 50 to 60 DMs a day now. And, like, that's just, in my opinion, yeah, I know it's crazy. It's a good way for me to actually get, you know, detailed questions for you guys answered and stuff. Yeah.
Enemy recon aircraft in the air.
Yep. Alright. Lewis, have I ever thought of going... Yeah, Lewis, oh, has it? I'm gonna answer this one guy's question. Oh, really? But anyways, alright, so I think I could probably mute my mic when I answer a stream, because it might confuse you guys, but you're fine. So, Lewis, have I ever decided to do Special Forces or anything like that? That was actually my original intention back whenever I wanted to join, whenever I was 18. I had all the paperwork and stuff ready to go to do Special Forces, active duty, and all that, because for me, if I wanted to do active duty, I would do like 75th Ranger Regiment or Special Forces or something like that, because I would go all in. But the reason I decided to go reserves was because now that I'm older, I have a few other things I want to accomplish in life rather than just being a bad A Army guy. So yes, I considered it, but I didn't go through with it. Maximus, I'm not gonna marry you, bro. So yeah, if I have a in-depth question, it'll be nice to press this little button to mute my mic, because that'll be helpful. Matt, what's your favorite food? I really like chicken pot pie and pizza. Is it?
Enemy recon aircraft in the air. Dropping Fritz export.
Oh, shoot. Yep. Shoot. Yeah, that's a good question for the stream too. So, for everybody on the stream, basically the guy in the party, he's asking if when you go to basic training, if National Guard, Army Reserves, and active duty all train together, and yes, they do. So the only time you're not going to train with people is like if you do go infantry, you're going to train with all infantry soldiers. But if you go anything else, that's not one station unit training. You're going to train with all different MOSs, all different branches. So Army Reserves, National Guard, and active all get the exact same training. Exact same. So, gosh, I'll tell you what though, it is definitely, it's a lot harder to play and live stream at the same time. Shoot. I'm listening to you guys, I'm watching the chat, and I'm trying to kill people. That is very true. I just feel guilty whenever I don't answer questions. But yeah, I'll go hardcore answering questions in the lobbies. Alright. And one. Not bad.
Under pressure. This victory will be remembered.
Alright. Let me use my mic real quick. I like the streams, Mr. Bacon. Thank you. Thank you, Matt. We still need to contact each other. I want to play. If you want to play, send me a message. I'm playing with 5 other people right now, but you should be able to send me a message. And it's confusing. Last time I've played, I didn't have a mic, so it's kind of confusing playing and listening at the same time. Would I be able to join infantry if I have a waiver? Yes. Yes. Have I ever been deployed, Logan? No, I haven't. I have not. She wants to play art. That's funny. I'm almost 17. There we go. There we go. Alright, so, are you playing on Xbox or PS4? I'm playing on the Xbox One, and right now there is time for anybody to join. I don't want to sand. Will you adopt me? I can't. It still says it's saying the session's full right now. Yeah, I tried to back out right now. Man, I wish I had COD because I'd love to play. It's loading right now. But yeah, I'm pretty sure somebody might have joined from the stream, so then we'd have more than 6. And there's ground war on this, so we might have to do that. Possibly. Yeah, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people right now. 8. Dang, 8 people. That's crazy. And so who was kicked out? Are you back in? What was your gamer tag? Oh, okay. Let me. Oh, really? I should make it army. Do I have a claim tag right now? I used to have it as my MOS. Can you live stream the date night with Ashley? I don't even know what you're talking about. Oh, you're talking about that one other girl. Pew pew pew. It was 25 Bravo. It's gonna be 25 Alpha now, which is a signal officer. So, all right, you guys ready? You're still waiting to join? Okay. Well, let me know whenever it's in. Any tips for basic? I leave the 23rd and I'm pretty nervous. Yeah, Michael, my biggest tip for you for basic is it's okay to be nervous, but you're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. No matter what physical shape you're in, you're going to pass. You know, the better physical shape you're in, the better you're going to be, or better off you're going to be. But, you know, just know when you get to basic training, it sucks, but you're going to get through it. So, me and Matt are friends, yes. You're in. Okay. Did you just say you were in? Alright. Find a match. Oh, shoot. Dang, do they not have ground war? Oh, they don't have ground war? You're kidding me. Y'all don't know what ground war is? It's where you can have 9v9, yeah. Oh, you know what that means, y'all. We could do a private match, or do y'all want to maybe take turns playing?
Let's do a private match.
Okay. I mean, yeah, we can do that. Standard mode. I've never done a custom game on here, but we'll see. Yeah, I haven't either. I kind of want to like actually play though. Ashley, Matt, yes. Me and Maximus are friends, yes. In basic training, can you talk now? What? Yeah. How about for now? Did you fight at Benning? Sorry. How about for now the whoever just joined back out, and then you know I could like refresh the lobby, and then just like the next few people to join could do that, because I actually want to play like multiplayer. Y'all get what I'm saying? Because I don't want to like boot anybody, but like me see here. Yeah, we can do 6. So, alright. Internal Flame, you're in here. Reactive Tooth, you're in here. Silent Shooters, are you on here? Silent Shooters, sound off. Alright. I'm going to have to remove him. Okay. Mad Lifey, are you in here? This is gonna be a pain. Alright, hold on, let me do this. Let me shoot. Party options. I'm gonna have to change the party to... Okay. I'm sorry everybody who's trying to join. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright, we should be good now. Honestly, I didn't expect this many people to join. It's a little pros and cons. But anyways, we should be good to go now. For everybody who's watching the stream right now, I'll try to refresh and stuff, and we should be able to play later. Error, lost connection to host. Dang it. Guys, stop claiming you're going to end up going for Special Forces, LOL. Your career may end up there, but focus in the short term for now. Get in, settle, find your sweet spot in your trade. Matt Smith's great advice. Alright. Yeah, I mean, it's not for everybody. A lot of people like the idea of doing it, and then they don't realize until you actually get into the military, like, how much of it actually sucks. And then once you like go through it, they're just like, okay, this isn't for me. Like you see the glory of it, and you watch movies of all these. It's always Special Forces, so people are like, yeah, like, so awesome, I want to be Special Forces. And then you're like, no, I'm not digging a foxhole and pooping in my pants and pooping in my own place where I'm sleeping. Like, that's not fun. So yeah. Yeah, I'm about to invite you guys back because it disconnected from the host. Invite party to game. Oh, really? Nice. Alright, yeah, I see him in. Yeah. That's like asking me how hard the SAT is. You can't, and it's a super common question. I get that question probably almost every day or every other day. Like, how hard is the ASVAB? I mean, if you study, if you do that, like, it's just like the SAT. So it's gonna be a lot of different questions based on different topics. You're gonna have questions on math, science, English, vocabulary, engineering, electrical stuff, woodworking. It's gonna be yes. Yeah, I'll give it just another minute, but I mean, I want to play. Also, games and movies and military aren't accurate. Yeah, games and movies make the military seem much more glorified than it is. How long do I plan on streaming for? I don't know. Maybe an hour. It's almost midnight here. So... Alright, we'll try again in a little bit. Alright, team deathmatch. We're actually going to play, everybody. Hopefully, as long as we don't all get kicked. I know. What are the best exercises to get good at before basic training? Something that I did a lot of, that I'm super happy that I did a lot of before basic, was planks. So, aside from the normal do push-ups and running and stuff, something people don't talk about a lot is doing planks. So if you do planks, that's going to be a lifesaver, because you're going to be in the front leaning rest position all day, every day. So, no, I've never dipped before. Yeah, for the people, for those of you, I played, oh, I gotta turn my mic back on. I played football, basketball, and baseball in high school, so I didn't do track or anything. But for those of you who, like, did track, cross country, like, you're at a great advantage when it comes to,
Time to show what you're made
when
of,
it comes to
soldier.
running and stuff in the Army. It's always the, you know, because I work a lot on my running, so people all the time, they're like, oh, did you do cross country in high school? No, I just worked my butt off. But for most people, I was gonna say, for the most part, for the people who like max out their PT tests for like running, like most of them do or did cross country, so it's just always like, oh, did you do cross country? But anyway.
We have the momentum. Enemy is down.
I haven't seen anybody.
We've lost the lead. It's sticky. He's not gonna make it.
Dang. That's pretty cool. What's like a mid-distance track length? Like what is that, like the 800 or something?
Enemy recon aircraft observed.
Gotcha. Gotcha. How fast do you do the 400 and 800? Just, it's okay.
Sniper, stay low. By the crane.
800. Okay.
Recon aircraft in your area.
Well, I hope your 800 is faster than 6 minutes, because that's a 3-minute quarter-mile pace.
We're winning the fight. Air package ready for aircraft. Mark the drop zone.
Gotcha. Dang it, I almost turned on that guy. Have I done heart?
We need reinforcements. Care package on the way. Protect the drop
Have I
zone.
done? Sorry. Have I done heart rate monitor training? Yes, I do that a lot running now. For those of you who don't know what he's talking about with heart rate monitor training, it's basically running at a pace, trying to keep your heart rate at a certain rate rather than worrying about how fast you're running. And so I kind of do that for my longer distance run. So if I'm doing like a 6-mile run, I try to keep my heart rate somewhere around 160 to 165 beats per minute. So that's kind of what I base my pace off of. So if I see my heart rate dipping down below 160, I run faster, and if I see it go above 165, then I go a little bit slower.
We're winning the fight.
So yeah, I do that. And that's also a good way to train, rather than just running for time or distance, like, you know, tracking your heart rate. Nice little different thing. God, that dude just sniped the crap out of me. I'm the type of gamer that stays in the corner and shoots everything. I ran today, it was I ran today, it was 30 degrees outside, so it was warmer today. But if it doesn't go below 20, then I'll run outside. But other than that, I'm just gonna run on the treadmill over the winter. Yeah, I know. Like, if that's what I'm saying, you live in Alaska. Dang. But yeah, like, I feel bad for people who live up in the north and stuff, because I mean, if you don't do long distance run, like I can run on a treadmill and it's not boring up until 3 miles, but then after 3 miles, if I'm doing longer than that, then it's so boring. Yeah, I'm so unmotivated to run anything longer than that because it's just boring. Like if I'm running, yeah, I mean you're just same place, you know. Oh shoot, we're gonna kill. Double kill. Oh, nice. But man, if I was in the north, that would just be, oh, that's terrible. It's -20 there. Shoot.
Enemy recon aircraft observed.
Yeah, my
Azon bomb mission underway. Firing battery
dang,
1.
this sniper on the other team is dirty. He's dirty. But
Enemy recon aircraft
my boss,
observed.
he's from Indiana, and he's like, it's a good place to be from because it's so cold.
Carried the day. Nice work, soldier.
Matt, are you a second lieutenant yet? No, I'm actually in 5 months and 7 days. I'll be a second lieutenant. Pretty crazy. Alright, mute my mic real quick. He's a captain. No, I'm not a captain. I wish. Let me catch up on some of y'all's messages. What would a 68 whiskey officer's job be? It wouldn't be 68 whiskey, but you'll be over all the other 68 series. Alright guys, Matt is here, attention. Just a curiosity. If someone... Alright, let me leave the lobby. What was the question? If someone who has done military service in another country, for example, let's say 1 year or so, moves to the U.S. and enlists in the Army, is their basic training still going to be the same? Yes. If you still go to basic training with the Army, you're still going to go to basic training for the Army. Matt makes weapons of mass destructions. Just kidding. Yeah. Yeah, I'll try and invite you real quick. Is anybody... What were the other gamer tags? Because we only have the 3 or 2 people right now. Okay. Yeah, I'm a 7-star general, y'all. Alright, 1 second. Alright. I just sent you another one. I sent you an individual invite that time. What's your favorite Call of Duty? Call of Duty 4. Yeah. Reputation needs work. Takes 1 bullet. That's funny. Alright. For... You're gonna try... What did you say you were gonna try and do? Oh, okay, yeah, it's, I mean, you'll be an NCO, like, if you, in your first contract, if it's, you know, 4 years, you should make, a sergeant. A lot of people, you'll hear, like, things called, like, the specialist mafia, because a lot of people will stay a specialist and they won't ever rank up past that. So if you want to become a NCO, like, you could definitely do it. And it's not hard. It's not hard to become an E5. Going from and it's not as hard to go to E6, but the higher you go, obviously the more competitive it's going to be, but it's not going to be too difficult to get to E5 in your first contract. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the thing. In the Army, this is something also, I didn't really ever think about this, and I was kind of surprised about it, but if you do join the military, and let's say you're scared of public speaking or something like that, like you're gonna have to get over that, especially if you want to be successful, because when you get to an NCO rank, when you're, why isn't it giving me my thing, but you're going to be doing a lot of talking in front of your platoon and stuff like that. But definitely as officers, a lot more decision making,
Team's deathmatch.
a lot more pressure on your shoulders, honestly.
Line them up.
Because like ultimately, like it's your decision. So like if you are in a situation where like people could die, you know, you're the one that's making the call on that.
We need reinforcements.
So. What's it like being the leader of the free world? I don't know. You'd have to ask Donald Trump.
Cover me. On the bridge, left side.
You're doing infantry? Oh. No, it's not. God, I'm so distracted right now. If that cockroach was back behind me, I might die. Yeah. I did kill it though, for those people who've asked me. I did kill it. I searched for that thing everywhere. Yep.
He's suppressing fire!
Yep. Do you really? Guys in the stream, the guy I'm playing with has a pet cockroach. I just want y'all to know that. His name is Oscar. The cockroach's name is Oscar. That's ridiculous.
We're winning the fight! Sticky bomb! Recon aloft. We have eyes in the sky.
That's
Being
funny.
outmaneuvered.
Dang, I'm doing terrible. That is funny. I would never keep a pet cockroach. I mean, I'm not like scared of bugs, but like if a bug's on me, oh.
Movement on the tower, the tank! In the courtyard!
What do you mean?
Fire in the hole!
That's alright. So I just got asked what all an officer is about.
Enemy recon aircraft reserved.
Taking heavy fire.
Your job is to lead and develop your platoon, and whatever the mission is. So like, it depends on like the MOS that you have as an officer. So, you know, an enlisted MOS can't be an officer MOS. So like, I was a 25 Bravo. There aren't 25 Bravo officers. There's a signal officer, which is 25 Alpha. So if you are a signal officer over a platoon, you'll be like the head of all the technical and communications and all that stuff. And so like, when you go somewhere, you'll be in charge of making sure all of your soldiers know their job, they have their plans, and all that stuff. If you're an infantry officer, your job is going to be dealing with a bunch more tactical stuff. So it kind of just depends. But you, as a second lieutenant, are in charge of a platoon, and the higher up you go into the officer rank, you're in charge of more soldiers. But officers are basically, officers are basically the decision makers, and NCOs are the soldiers that carry out the orders of the officers.
Recon aloft. We have eyes.
Where do officers get their information for what to do?
Movement at the checkpoint!
Shit, they took him out.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, it depends on this, like, from either a higher officer or they make up their own. Yes.
Enemy recon aircraft
Yeah, so
reserved.
officers are literally the leaders. So like, you know, if you're a company commander, so you'd be like a captain or something. If you're a company commander, your company is going to have different SOPs, standard operating procedures, and you know, who's going to be the guy that makes the decision on what the SOPs are, what are the rules for your company, all that stuff. What's your company going to do in certain situations? Like, you are in charge of that. Then what kind of happens is there's this thing called the commander's intent, right? And as officers, whenever you're creating op orders and creating orders, you're going to have a higher officer who gives you an order, but in that there's this thing called the commander's intent. So it's basically like an overall general scheme of things, like what needs to be accomplished in this mission, task, or whatever. So what is the commander's intent? And then he'll pass that down to the officer below him, and he'll create his own op order with his intent, and he'll pass that all the way down. So you will make up whatever rules, you'll do whatever's necessary to meet the commander's intent. So you, as an officer, you have free reign to do whatever you want, as long as, again, it is in the commander's intent. So the higher officer who's above you, your superior, whatever you're doing, if you're a platoon leader, you know, you can have your platoon do whatever you want, but it's got to go towards that goal of the company. And then the company commander, he's got his orders from the battalion commander, and so whatever the company is doing has to meet, you know, the needs for the battalion, and then so on, going all the way up to, you know, the general of the army. Yeah. If you are the general of the army, thank you. If you're the general of the army, I mean, then you go off of Donald Trump. But I mean, those guys, like, literally, like, I've talked to generals, and I've talked to lieutenant colonels and colonels, and like, when you get up to those super high officer ranks, they talk about how it's kind of literally like playing a game, like a little board game almost. Like, you think of it as you have a map, and you're placing different pieces everywhere, and you're trying to, like, structure things, and, like, you're looking like really big picture, you know. And so that's kind of how it is. Like, the higher up you go, like, the further away you get from the soldiers, and you're not making decisions that are impact them one-on-one. You know, whenever you're a general, you know, you're going to be telling, you make a decision and it's going to affect 50,000 people. Atham Altuka, thank you for the super chat. 777. I think you donate that every time. 777. Happy New Year. Hope everybody's New Year's is going well. Man, I'm going to kill this guy. Double kill? Yes, double kill.
We're taking heavy casualties. Enemy recon aircraft in the air.
Where are you at in this scenario? You're out of basic? Okay, so if you're in the normal army, so this guy's asking, you know, can you like basically go and shoot, or you basically want to know like, can you go and shoot and train on your own time when you're in the regular army, right? Because, alright, basically yes, but you're not going to be able to go to like a normal range. So there'll be like firearm ranges that you can go to and just kind of like screw around and shoot. But you're not going to be able to go to an actual firing range whenever you want, because on posts and bases and stuff like that, they have different ranges. They'll be like range 1 through 15, and you have to actually rent those out as a company. So you can't rent them out like individually or like your group of friends or something. That would be like take planning from your commander. So you can't like do that. But like you could go and just shoot and practice on your own, but you're not really gonna get to, I think, do what you were originally thinking about, which is like you just go to a range and like really practice. There will be, yeah, it depends on your MOS. So like if you're infantry, there like I just said, like there's going to be scheduled range days and days where you're going to go to a range. You're going to work on different tactical shooting, maybe moving while shooting, kneeled shooting, shooting around barriers, shooting whatever, just working on qualifying. So those things will happen on a fairly regular basis. The more combat related your MOS is. If you don't have an MOS that's not, or if you have an MOS that's not nearly combat related at all, the days that you go to the range are going to be few and far between.
Recon searching for targets.
You will see, like you're going to do things specific to your job. So you'll do a lot of training. So like whereas an infantry guy might go to the range to practice or do things like that, as a combat medic, you know, you'll work on combat life-saving and stuff like that, and working on dummies. You'll be doing things like that rather than
Recon aircraft ready for mission. Enemy anti-aircraft fire. We lost air superior airdrop. Mark the DZ. We're dominating them. Keep pushing.
enemy flat guns active. Oh. I know that depending on the engineering MOS you're talking about, I've never really heard anything bad about engineers. I've never really heard anything bad about them. Yeah, so like those MOSs, like you do get to like blow stuff up and stuff, but I mean specifics, like something that you'll learn whenever you join the military. Like a lot of people expect me to know everything about every MOS, which you don't. Like you kind of just only you kind of only know like the things that you come across. And I've never been attached to or near. I've only gotten the chance to talk to a couple people who are engineers. So, shoot. Yeah. I got my stuff. Matt, is your brother back from a deployment? No. My brother comes back from Afghanistan. Should be in March. Should be in March. Oh, shoot. I got paratroopers. Yes. Too bad the game's almost over. Yes, I'm feeling a little bit more warmed up, so we can play Dom. No, I don't want to play hardcore. Playing hardcore is almost like a totally different game. It's like, it's just different. My brother-in-law likes hardcore, but I've never really liked it. Let me eat these fruit snacks real quick. DCP Gaming, what? Oh, Mad Lifey, yeah, I'll invite you real quick. So the question is, what is a unit made of? So that's another thing that kind of just depends, right? Yeah, I'll try and invite some people, or invite you guys right now. Let me go back to the headquarters. But anyways, so what consists of your unit depends on the mission, right? So there's, gosh, there's just so much. But when you're in a specific unit, that unit is going to have a specific mission that they need to accomplish as a unit, a specific piece that they need to fulfill in the bigger scheme of things. So depending on the kind of unit will depend on what they are as well, but generally units they're not going to consist of all the exact same MOS. So you're not going to have a platoon of all the same MOS or another platoon of all the same MOS. You'll have a unit that is centered around one idea. So like a transportation unit is going to have a lot of 88 mics and 88 Novembers and 88 series, but then you're also going to have 25 series guys, so it's comms guys. You're going to have, you know, a whole bunch of different MOSs that kind of aid in I don't know, helping that goal of whatever the mission of that unit is. So, but for the most part, you're generally going to have maybe a couple truck drivers. You're going to have some signal guys. You're not going to have like infantry people in every platoon, because that's not the job of every platoon. But in an infantry platoon, you might have a couple forward observer guys. You might have a couple combat engineers. You're going to have a couple signal guys. So, yeah, well, let me invite some people. Me too. Alright. I just invited everybody. Alright, see you, man. Mad Lifey, I'm inviting you. Alright. Send party invite. Thank you. Thank you. I don't think people appreciate how much I appreciate y'all watching and telling me that. If that makes sense. Invite to game. I can tell. From their voice. No, but that's good. It's good that at a young age people are considering that, because, you know, I also tell people who are younger than 16 to really not stress about it too much. You know, if you're younger than 16, how do you, you know, prepare for the military? It's just, you know, don't get fat, basically. You know, there's not a whole bunch of knowledge stuff that you work on. You know, if you learn something at 14, you're probably going to forget it by the time you're 17. So, you know, maybe if you want to... So maybe, I don't know, if you want to get into airsoft or something, that might be pretty cool. A lot of times there's ex-military guys will play airsoft, so maybe you could hook up with one of them and they can maybe teach you some tactics and you could get a little experience doing that. But anyways, yeah, my little brother's into airsoft a lot. I have yet to play, like, or go to an actual place, but, you know. My favorite thing, though, My favorite thing is actually get to do sticks lanes and field training in the army. Like, that's a lot of fun. Like, especially if you get this stuff called Miles gear. And what it is, Miles gear is basically, it's almost like laser tag, but with the real army, because they'll attach lasers onto your M4s and your 240s and your 249s, and then you'll wear gear, and so on your Kevlar, your helmet, you'll have a ring around it. You'll have something that you basically wear that's a vest, and so you can shoot people, and it'll ding, and it'll be this really super loud buzzing sound. Like, it's super loud when you get shot. So it's really cool. And the cool thing about the army is, like, when you're doing sticks lanes, the more realistic you make it in your mind when you're doing it, the more fun it is. So, like, if you take things seriously, like, probably, I remember at basic training in Blue Phase during one of the last phases, we're doing this one drill called Battle Drill 1 Alpha, which is basically like a basic flanking motion for a squad. And my drill sergeant, his name was Drill Sergeant Murphy. If he heard me say his name on this, he'd be like, "Private," and he'd shake his head. But anyways, he did the most, like, motivating pep talk ever before that sticks lane, and you know, it was one of the first times I heard how we train is how we fight. So when you're training, you know, yeah, so how you train is how you fight. So if when you're training in the army, you're not taking it seriously, you know, it's gonna affect you when the real thing happens. So the more serious you take it, it's better for you, and it's actually just in general more fun. And I'm not saying that real combat's fun, it's just, you know, even though people do like combat, yeah. People do seriously though get addicted to combat. My PMS in my RTC battalion, he's admitted, he's like, he freaking loves war, and he misses it. But it's just, it's an adrenaline high, you know. Shoot. Really? Good night, Hayden. Oh, okay. It's an internal flame. Okay, gotcha. Internal's flame name was Hayden. I try to remember everybody's name and stuff, but it's hard. Yeah, like I said, it's like, you know, so it depends, right? So everything is going to depend on the mission, but what you're going to wear normally for your like for your combat rig and everything is going to be your Kevlar helmet, and you would wear this IOTV that's got plates in it, and then you're going to have your M4, a couple magazines on your flick, your fighting load carrier, a couple canteens, your camo back, lots of ammo, stuff like that. So I mean, it kind of depends, but on your flick is where all the cool stuff is. I mean, shoot, kill this guy. But I'm trying to think. It's hard for me to lose my train of thought sometimes. But I mean, it kind of just depends, like, and it depends on your MOS too. So like, you could be, depending on what job you are, or what role you have in your squad, you could be the guy that carries the tripod for the 240. You know, you could be the guy that carries the ammo for the 240 or the extra barrel. You could be the grenadier, so you're going to be a guy who carries a whole bunch of grenades with his M203. Because in the squad, a squad is going to consist of 2 teams, and then those 2 teams are going to have like 2 riflemen. They're gonna have like a heavy gunner, so he's got a M249 or 240, and then you're gonna have a grenadier who's got the M203 grenade launcher attached on. So depending on what your job is there in the team, will kind of depend on what you carry, right? And then in that, again, you're gonna have a guy who, in the team, you're gonna have a guy who carries the tripods for the 249s and the 240s and the extra barrels, because when you have machine guns, I mean, it's not like this. You've got to change out the barrels on 240s and 249s, so you've got to carry extra barrels. Yeah. Yeah.
Taking B.
Yeah, and there's different modes of fire that you can, as a team leader, will tell your guys to shoot at. So you'll tell them to shoot at a sustained rate, shoot at a cyclic rate, shoot at a rapid rate, and each one of those rates have a different amount of rounds per couple seconds that you need to shoot before resting. And then depending on the rate, you'll also determine how quickly you need to change out your barrel. So there's a lot of things that goes into that. LW, you're so confused at what's happening. I'm sorry.
Good work. Prepare for the next advance.
Is it better to go West Point or regular ROTC? That, you know, if you want to go West Point, you're going to be a good officer for sure. If you want to have a little bit more of a normal college life, then go ROTC. Because at West Point, it's basically like you're joining the military whenever you first initially go in. And I'm doing so bad.
Take position.
Hostiles
Capturing Anton. Anton locked down. Enemy has Kaiser.
Brandon, the 249 is actually not that heavy. The 240 is the one that's heavy. The 240 is a pain in the butt. Especially with the rounds. You would take the 240 over the 249?
Capturing Bertha.
That is true, but have you ever carried a 240 with an extra barrel and some extra rounds for a really long period of time? And getting up and sitting down, it does. There's people figure out pretty quickly at basic training. There'll be guys who are like, yeah, you know, just like you said, like, yeah, I want to carry the 240, like that gun's bad A. And then you carry it and you're like, oh my gosh, this is so heavy. And then, you know, you'll figure out like it kind of sucks carrying that thing. But it's definitely really cool when you get to shoot it. When you get to shoot that thing, though, I love shooting the 240. It is awesome. Awesome. It's awesome shooting a fully auto gun. Shooting the 240, the 249. I've gotten to shoot the 50 cal. Oh, that's so cool. That's awesome. Like the 50 cal, but not like a Gatling gun that you're talking about now. Oh, I almost went on a tear. Oh, shoot. Yeah. Any last minute tips for basic training? I leave in 2 days. I literally have a video called last minute tips for basic training. But, yeah, the things I always say is get rest the night before, because you're probably not going to sleep at reception. Make sure you leave on good terms with your family, because you don't want to be stressing her out. So if you got a girlfriend, you know, make sure you leave happy, because when you get to basic training, all your drill sergeants are going to be talking about how your girlfriend is cheating on you with your best friend, and they're going to be getting into your head. So, yeah, they're going to be playing mind games with you. So if you leave basic training on bad terms with your significant other, it's just going to be extra mental stress that you don't want to deal with. And I'm serious too. Like, your drill sergeants will literally sing cadences of your girlfriend cheating on you with your best friend. So, and I mean, honestly, for a lot of people, and I mean, for a lot of, and it's kind of true with the military. It sucks, but a lot of people are gonna get Dear John letters at basic, you know, where their girlfriend writes them a letter and says, "Hey, you know, I can't do this, whatever." It happens. And the reason your drill sergeants, yeah, and the reason your drill sergeants say that is because they want you to focus on basic training rather than focus on, you know, what's at home. So whatever strategy they want to do that, you know, the less distractions you can think about, the easier basic training is. That's why for people who are single going to basic training, you know, consider yourself lucky, because the less things you have pulling you home, the better. Tommy with the freaking $20 super chat. You're ridiculous. Bought some of that protein powder that's sponsored by me. It's really good. Yes, VPN supplements, they really are legitimately good. So if anybody's like getting into working out and you want to know what protein to get, VPN supplements are definitely good tasting stuff. And I had some today. I seriously love the cinnamon roll. I'm just saying. And yeah, I love cadences too. Cadences are one of the best parts about basic training is the cadences and singing cadences and how like motivated it makes you feel and crap. Especially when you have a good drill sergeant who can sing some good cadence. That's super motivating. I had a platoon sergeant at AIT who would basically ad-lib cadences, and you know you're good at calling cadence when you can basically just make up one on the fly, and those are like the best ones. They're great. Enemy contact at Bertha. How far do drill sergeants go? It depends on the drill sergeant, right? So not every drill sergeant is going to punish you the same way. So how far will they go to make your life suck? It depends. So some drill sergeants will do things mentally. My head drill sergeant, he was like an interrogator in the Army, so he liked to screw with your head. But they'll go pretty far. They'll have a lot of fun. Drill sergeants have a lot of fun screwing with privates. So just imagine it, and they'll probably do it. There was the first platoon. Here's a little smoking, or not a smoking story, a little story of them screwing people over. But first platoon, 2 times at basic training, they flooded the entire barracks like a foot deep in water, and they, you know, tipped over everything. Chopped off all the locks in the lockers, dumped everything out so people didn't know what stuff was theirs. Oh yeah, that's another good tip that I've never said before. When you get to reception and you get issued your gear, this is for, you know, you guys listening to the show and everybody watching the stream. The first thing you want to do is get a Sharpie, get a marker, and mark all of your clothes, all of your gear, mark everything. And do it something that is where you know it's going to be yours, because at some point things are probably going to get mixed up. Your drill sergeants might toss everything and it's going to be like, oh crap, whose stuff is who? So if you have your socks labeled, your underwear labeled, your OCP tops, your pants labeled, and all that stuff, then people aren't going to be able to steal your clothes, and you're going to be able to find your stuff easily if it's in a situation where everything gets tossed. So literally, as soon as you get your stuff at reception, get a Sharpie and write your initials. What I did was I wrote the last 4 of my social on it. So yes, theft happens a lot. Yeah, because so you want to make sure you have your lockers locked at all times. You know, like for me, like you generally become really good friends with your bunkmates, the guys who sleep above you, below you, beside you. But what happens a lot at basic is if you lose gear or if you lose something, you're really scared to tell your drill sergeant. So like, especially if it's something that doesn't have a serial number, because when you sign for your gear, you sign off on the serial number, because everything that the Army issues you pretty much has a serial number, and you'll sign that off. But if it doesn't, so let's say you lose some gloves, or you know, you have t-shirts, somebody runs out of t-shirts, or even like an entire uniform, you know, if somebody loses theirs, they might just take yours. So that's another reason why you want to have everything labeled, because it happens, you know. Sometimes people, you know, you think you can trust them, but then you can't. So
domination, secure and hold all positions.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But yeah, that's
advance and take position. Closing with charge. C captured. Enemy has Able. Throw it sticky.
Yeah, like, and people. Yeah.
Baker locked down.
Yes, definitely. You don't necessarily have to get boots. The boots that you get issued at basic training. So, anyways, for the stream, you know, the guy's talking about making sure you go buy some boots and running them before basic training so your feet are more prepared. I definitely am all for that. But the big thing is just make sure you are running or doing something so you get your feet just at least a little bit more calloused up. But the boots that you get issued at basic training are just, they're terrible for your feet. They're just bad for your feet. And they will just shred your skin up if you don't get the right size, or if you haven't done any running or anything like that. But like a lot of people, I mean, most people. Oh, it happens. It happens all the time. But a lot of people don't have the money to go and invest in boots. But if you want to, I think it is a good idea, because after basic training, you can wear those boots. You can't wear the boots at basic training, but if you buy a pair of boots, you want to get them broken in and run in them before basic training, get your feet ready for it, and then after, when you get to AIT, you can actually wear those boots. So
we can't keep this up.
Yeah, but yeah, you can't wear any boots besides what you're issued at basic training. Yeah, and they want everybody to be uniform. So another little thing, like if you're about to leave for basic training, a lot of people will shave their head already before basic training. Don't do that, because you're still gonna have to pay for a haircut, even if you're bald, literally. So don't do that. A lot of people will think, you know, even if you are somebody who's like going bald, a lot of people like to shave their head and go bald. Don't do that, because everybody's got to be in the same uniform. They got to have the same haircut. They all got to look the same. Yeah, but like seriously, like if people don't worry about paying for a haircut before going for basic training. They're gonna make you pay for the haircut there, and it's $7. Whether you need it or not, you're gonna pay it, and they're gonna, you know. Oh yeah. What they do when you I was gonna say, what they do when you get to reception is they'll give you like this Eagle card, which is like an advance on your pay. It's like $300 that they'll give you on this card. And when you go to the PX for the first time, they have a list of things for you to buy, and including like the haircut. And they make you just pay for like your shoes that you get and all this other stuff and your haircut. So.
They're taking Baker.
The haircuts are bad. Like they cut your hair really fast at basic. They don't really worry about getting all the little stray hairs. So when people get their head shaved, there's gonna be like stray long hairs and stuff. Like, but don't worry. Like if you got a weird shaped head, a lot of people do. A lot of people have like weird marks on your head, and it's just like, what is that? And it's just, you know, the cool thing about getting your head shaved is that everybody's getting their head shaved. Everybody feels like they look weird, and everybody's in the same boat that you're in. So it's not as weird as you might think, because everybody's going through it, you know.
They're taking Baker.
So there'll be people who have just like a skin issue. There'll be, I don't know. But I mean, also at the same time, you kind of get used to it. I remember getting used to my head being shaved. Like, you just get used to it. And I never had my head shaved before, and it was really weird when I felt my head afterwards.
Taking Charlie.
That was weird.
They're taking Able.
Oh shit, I'm about to die.
Able's overrun.
Run barefoot on concrete or gravel. Don't do that.
They're taking Baker.
You have to have a military haircut. So depending on what AIT you go to, will depend on how strict they are on your haircut. So after basic training, you don't have to have a head shave, but you're gonna have to maintain a much more well-kept haircut than you will in the regular army. Once you get out of AIT, then you can let your hair go to like how mine is right now.
Good work. Rest up for the next push.
Like my hair right now is fine, but like if I was at AIT right now, they would give me a lot of crap. Double kill, or not double kill, but they would give me a lot of crap. And at my AIT at Fort Gordon, they wanted us to get our hair cut every week.
Domination.
Sometimes I might be able to go a week and a half, depending on when I got my haircut. Like if I got it on a Friday, maybe I could get it cut the next Sunday or something like that.
Enemy controls Charlie.
But they were pretty strict on us for it.
Taking Baker. 3 care packages inbound. Resupply and press the attack. Recon airborne.
Oh shoot. Should you bring money with you to basic training? I think it's actually on like the packing list to bring a few bucks or really, but you really don't need that much. The only reason you're gonna need the cash is for maybe something at the airport. But when it comes time at the end of basic training, you can go to an ATM. But I would say you don't really need anything more than 20 bucks. You might get this thing come around called a gut truck, where if you get the privilege, there'll be this truck that comes around and they'll sell you Cliff Bars and Powerades and stuff like that. And they're like $2 each. So $2 for a Cliff Bar, $2 for a Powerade. And so you'll need cash for that. But, you know, yeah, I would say, you know, you don't really need more than 20 bucks. What about food? What's food like at basic training? So once you get to white phase will be when you really start eating MREs every day. When you're in white phase, you'll eat an MRE every day. You're generally not going to eat more than 1 per day. So in red phase, you're going to eat at the defac basically 3 times a day. Towards the end of red phase, you might eat there twice and then MRE once. But your schedule, like how you're going to eat in white phase, is going to be in the morning. You're going to go to the defac for lunch. You're going to eat an MRE at the range, and then for dinner, you're probably going to have field chow, which is where they basically take the defac food to you. And the food isn't that bad. It's definitely a lot better than I thought it was going to be. The only thing that sucks is it just kind of gets boring and repetitive.
They're taking Able.
You know, eating not necessarily the same thing, but like the same sets of things. You know? It's kind of like, it's almost like cafeteria in like high school, but with less options, and you eat it 3 times a day, basically.
Lost A.
Can you make a video on how to make your bed military style? I've gotten that question a few times. My bed spread would be pretty bad for that, but that's actually one of my specialties, is making a bed. It's one of those things when you're at basic, you have people who are good at certain things, and so I would, you know, me and some other people, like if we had like an inspection or a drill sergeant come by or whatever, somebody's bed looks like crap, I would go around and make their bed for them. And a lot of people will do that because you want your beds to look good, and so like some people, I don't know what it is, but literally just some people can't freaking figure out how to make a bed. And drill sergeants will come in and they'll just like flip over. They'll just flip over everything because somebody's bed looks like crap. So what you end up just doing is just kind of like screw it before you go down to formation. You just kind of fix up their hospital corners a little bit.
Enemy recon aircraft observed.
But I can make my bed look good. How much sleep do you get at basic? You actually get a good bit of sleep. A lot of people think you don't, but you get 7 to 9 hours.
They're capturing Baker.
Yeah, the only time that you don't get a lot of sleep, yeah, you do get a lot of sleep, but it's just, you know, currently, you know, if you're getting 8 hours of sleep a night now, it's a little bit different when you're at basic because you're going to be out doing stuff the entire day, and your body's going to be pretty tired from being in the sun or whatever. But the only time you don't get enough sleep is when you're at an FTX. Then you're probably going to get 1 to 4 hours of sleep for those couple of days. So,
dug in and able.
But yeah, like the thing that I went through over this past summer, the final training that you have to go through to be an officer in ROTC, we got, I would say, I don't remember, and probably, I would say an average, the whole month, I probably got an average of 3.5 to 4 hours of sleep a night for a month. And that was just terrible. That was one of the worst things about that thing that I went to. It was bad because we're rucking, we're walking like over 10 miles a day, like ruck marching, carrying a whole bunch of gear. I was carrying like, you know, 60, 70 pound rucks, 10 miles a day, and you get like 3 to 4 hours of sleep. I don't know, whatever it was. It wasn't a lot of sleep. It was terrible. Matt, are there any nights that you just couldn't fall asleep and stayed up for the whole night? Not at basic. When you get the chance to fall asleep at basic, you knock out in 2 seconds. I don't care, because I'm normally not the person who can fall asleep fast, but I don't care who you are or if you can't fall asleep right now. When you get to basic training, if you have 5 minutes to take a nap, you're going to take a nap in those 5 minutes. It happens, everybody. Literally, on like 3-minute bus rides, people will knock out, and it's like the best thing ever. When you get on the buses at basic, and you're being bussed from one place to another because it's too far to ruck, and you have those 5-6 minutes to just sleep, and it's like your only bit of quiet time. Oh, it's so awesome. It is the best. Would you recommend joining and going infantry at 27 if you want to? 27 is not that old. It's only 2.5 years older than me, so I'd be perfectly capable of doing infantry right now. So, what were you gonna say?
Closing with Able. Able is ours. We have the lead. Enemy controls Charlie. Domination. Take control. Advance and take position.
You should be scared that that drill sergeant wants you to go to binning. He's being sarcastic. So I got
Enemy capturing.
yeah.
They're taking Baker.
Yeah, have fun at Fort Benning.
They're taking Baker.
But anyways, I got this question.
Overrun. We lost B.
Got this message on Instagram because I did say I do have in the comment section of the description that I'm answering questions on Instagram, but probably not doing any more chat invites because I'm gonna probably play just like one more game before I go to bed because it's almost 1 in the morning. But what was the funniest thing at basic training? Probably one of the funniest moments. It was humiliating for this guy, but one of the funniest moments at basic was for the second FTX. This one guy left his M16 unattended against a tree, and yeah, I know. So you always want to have your rifle within arm's reach of you or with another battle buddy. So if you go use the latrine somewhere, give your M16 or M4 whatever to somebody else and let them look after it. So don't ever leave it unattended. So we're out here in the woods and he leaves it up against a tree. And I remember he came around and I was, you know, the platoon leader. So he comes up to me and he's like, Ward, like, I can't find my M16. And I'm like, you're kidding me. And if you guys didn't know, if a weapon goes missing on a military installation, they shut down the entire post. Like, they shut down the entire post if a weapon goes missing. And but luckily it didn't. The drill sergeant actually stole it. So the drill sergeant takes it and he's messing with the guy and he's like, you better find that because, you know, we don't want to have the whole place going, the whole Fort Benning going lockdown because you can't find your dang weapon. And of course he's like cursing at him and stuff. But after like 30 minutes or so, and he's just like, my friend, he's just like freaking out, right? Like, he's freaking out because it is not good to lose your rifle. And what the drill sergeant ended up making him do was he had to dig, because your rifle is like your partner, like it will save your life. So your best friend and best buddies with your weapon. And so in front of the entire company, it was so funny though, but I feel so bad for him, but it was so funny. He made this private apologize to his weapon and tell his weapon that he was sorry and all that stuff. And then he made him do like he made him dig a grave with his bare hands for his M16 in the dirt. And then bury his M16. And then what he said, like a eulogy, had to make up basically a like burial speech thing for his M16. Oh man, it was so, and it was in front of the entire company, but he was so embarrassed. But it was just, it was so funny. It was so funny. Yeah, don't lose your rifle. Or leave it unattended, because in this case the drill sergeant saw it unattended, so he picked it up. But yeah, always keep your rifle within arm's reach. Oh shoot! Oh, I almost died. But I mean, there's a lot of other funny stories and stuff, and I can't remember. I've got my top 3 moments from basic training. I got that video. I can only remember one of the things that I talked about because I made it a long time ago. But one of them is whenever I won a bet, and I won a $300 bet, but it turned out I just made this guy buy me about $200 and something worth of clothes. So that's a memorable moment from basic. Who keeps inviting me? I don't know, but like I said, I don't think I'm Sneeze the boss.
Azon bomb mission underway.
I don't think I'm gonna. Yes.
Capturing Baker.
But there's definitely going to basic training is you're gonna remember that crap for the rest of your life. There's so much stuff. You know, that's just funny, terrible. You'll remember a lot of stuff.
Taking Baker. Recon airborne. Baker's overrun.
You know.
Taking Baker. We have the doghouse. We hold Baker.
In the courtyard!
Yeah.
Closing with aim.
Yeah, it's definitely,
We
you
control all
know,
objectives.
it was the same thing for me, like, going to basic over the summer, like, you don't have a summer and everything,
They're
but
capturing Able.
you'll enjoy
Care
it.
package ready for airdrop. Mark the drop. They're capturing Able.
You'll enjoy it.
Baker's overrun. We lost A. Care package on the way. Protect the drop zone. Recon aloft. We have eyes in the sky. Capturing Baker.
Yeah, and then you'll get to reception and be like, oh, reception's the worst part. Literally, like, I don't think people understand, like, especially if you're going to full binning and you go to 30th AG, like, I'm telling you guys, 30th AG was probably, it was just terrible. I was there for 8 days. You're bored out of your mind. They treat you like crap. It was bad.
Recon flight concluded.
I would rather do the first 8 days of basic training over again than go to 8 days of reception.
Counter recon flight concluded. Returning to air.
Yeah, so for the shark attack, what they do, for those of you who don't know what the shark attack is, it is basically when you first get to basic training, not reception. So you're going to go to reception, and they're going to line you all up, and you're going to get on a bus, and then you're going to go to basic training. And that is when basic training actually starts. And once the bus stops, the drill sergeants are going to get on the bus. They're going to yell at you. They're going to say, you got 10 seconds for everybody to get off this bus. Blah, blah, blah. They're going to be yelling at you. And no matter what, try not to be the last person off the bus. That's just a little tidbit of tip right there. And what they'll do is they'll get you all, and they'll separate you all into your separate platoons. And then they're going to smoke you for about an hour. And so one of the main things that they're going to do is they're going to be yelling at you while making you hold up all of your gear. So everything that you bring to basic training and all of your gear and your duffel bags, you're going to be holding that over your head for probably about 30 minutes in total. Like, it's just terrible. They're going to make you pick it up and put it down. They're going to make you be in the front leading rest position a lot. And so that's going to be like the initial shark attack. So that's really all that consists of is them yelling at you a lot. This is the part where, like, if they see you do anything, this is where the drill sergeants will swarm, you know, one person. And if one drill sergeant gets in the face of another private and starts yelling at them, then that generally signals for other drill sergeants to come over and yell at you. So for the shark attack, you want to do everything you can to literally not screw up or stand out or be the last person for anything or and whatnot. So after you basically do that, that's really what the shark attack is. And then just for the rest of the day, before you go to lunch, or after lunch, they're just going to smoke you some more. And almost the first day is almost consistent entirely of getting smoked and getting issued your gear. That's really all the shark attack is. It's not as bad as a lot of people think. The worst thing is holding all of your gear over your head for a long time. And again, like, the reason that's bad is if you can't do that, or if you drop your bag or something like that, that just, it swarms of drill sergeants around you, and they're gonna yell at you. So anyways, that's pretty much it. And it's weird talking about now. It's like, oh, drill sergeant's yelling at you. Like, that's not a big deal. But you gotta think, like, it's hard to describe it, but you're in a different mindset when you're at basic. You know? You don't want drill sergeants to yell at you. It's not good. So. Yeah, they'll talk to you. Like, they don't yell at you. They're not going to yell at you all the time, because drill sergeants are there to teach you. They're your teachers. And yeah, they'll be yelling at you, so they'll teach you and then be like, all right, you know, get this done, and then be done by, you know, 1400 in formation in the right gear. And if you're not, then they're going to yell at you, and they'll put you in the front linear rest position and, you know, do all that stuff. But you know, most drill sergeants are just going to talk normally, but then when you piss them off, they're going to yell at you. But there are drill sergeants who will never yell. They'll be more calm, and they'll be like, literally, they'll be like, I don't see the point in yelling at you to try to get you to do something. I'll just make you drop and do push-ups and just talk to you normally. So some drill sergeants like yelling all the time. Some drill sergeants don't ever yell. Some are a mix of the two. Some drill sergeants, as a way of punishing you, will do a crap ton of physical punishment. Some drill sergeants might take away some privileges.
Advance and take position.
The first day of basic training, we had a guy sit on his bunk to put on his boots. And if you didn't know, you can't sit on your bunk at basic training. Like, you can't. The only time you're ever going to be in your bunk is when you're going to sleep. So you're not going to have any chairs. You're going to be sitting on the floor all the time. And so this guy, he sits on his bunk to put on his boots the first day of basic training. So what my drill sergeant made us do was be on a 100% fire guard shift for the next like 2 weeks. And fire guard, you know, is where you're basically up in the middle of the night for an hour, and you lose an hour of sleep every night. And generally only about 25% of the platoon will do it every night, and it alternates. But he made everybody do it for 2 weeks. So, you know, his way of punishing us for that was he made everybody lose an extra hour of sleep every night for the next 2 weeks, because one guy sat on his bunk to put on his boots. So, you know, another drill sergeant might have handled it differently, to where, you know, he might have made us be in a squatting position for, you know, an hour, you know. So, oh, shoot. Yeah, and some drill sergeants are super funny. I had this one drill sergeant, whenever you have drill sergeant time, sometimes they'll just sit around and they'll just talk to you. And I had one drill sergeant, and he would literally, he was hilarious. Like, he is, our little platoon motto over there, on my little plaque thing, my picture, is something that he said all the time, called "Let's Go, Champ." And so he would say "Let's go, champ" all the time. So, like, if you're doing something, or if he'd be hyped up, you know, he'd be like, "Let's go, champ." And he would always talk about the girls that he was having sex with and stuff, like, all the time. And, like, his, like, relationship issues. And he'd get real detailed and stuff. It was so funny. He was a pretty cool drill sergeant. Yeah, but yeah, you'll have some drill sergeants that, I mean, they're legitimately pretty cool. And I mean, they're for the most part normal people, but then they have their drill sergeant persona. So, like, that drill sergeant that you met, you know, he seemed real normal. You know, that's I guess him being normal. But you know, drill sergeants have like they have a switch where they turn on their drill sergeant and whatnot. And towards the end. Yep.
Taking Baker.
I hope you didn't say his name.
Fire in the hole! Throwing stick grenade!
Yeah, and it's weird. Drill sergeants are they're different, and I call them creatures in one of my videos because like they're different. And at the end of basic training, they might be a little bit more humanized. And I remember we got this one new drill sergeant just straight out of the thing, and he was actually a really nice guy. And I remember because I was the PL, so I talked to drill sergeants every day. And I remember talking to him, and he looked at me, and we walked past each other, and he was like, "What's up?" And I was just like, "What the heck?" Like, a drill sergeant just told me, "What's up?" And I told my friend, and we were all just like, "What the heck? That's so weird." Because they're just so different. Drill sergeants don't talk to you normal. And the fact that he told me what's up, it was weird.
Closing with 8.
Grenades first!
Yeah, you never say yes, sir. I just made a video on that. So you never want to say call drill sergeant, sir, or yes, sir, anything. You always start everything with drill sergeant, and you want to end everything with drill sergeant. So if you go up to a drill sergeant, you walk up to him, you go to position of attention, then you go to parade rest, and then you say drill sergeant, blah 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 blah, drill sergeant. So that's how you're gonna address your drill sergeants. You don't call them by your name. You don't call them sir. Yeah, it's just drill sergeant, drill sergeant, drill sergeant. If you're ever referring to a drill sergeant, you don't ever say their name. You just say drill sergeant. You don't say drill sergeant such and such because their name is drill sergeant. As a cadet, your MOS is 09 Romeo. Yeah. So for cadets, it's like almost like a placeholder MOS. 09 Romeo. Doesn't really mean anything. It just means you're a cadet. But my MOS used to be 25 Bravo, but it's kind of complicated. So like my MOS rank and all that stuff is kind of complicated. Prior service.
Enemy recon aircraft observed.
Man down! Man down!
Enemy controlled Baker.
No. You just switch your MOS. It's basically paperwork, and then you'll go to AIT again. So you'll just get shipped back to AIT, to whatever that AIT is if you're switching your MOS. But it's not going to be as hard or the same thing as like normal AIT when you go through it the first time. Because what you'll be is an MOS, an MOST, or an MOS transfer. And so those are, you're going to be taught the same thing as other MOS people, MOS soldiers, or soldiers going through AIT the same for the first time. But since you're an MOST, and you're switching your MOS, you're going to have different privileges. So you can go and kind of eat where you want. You're going to be sleeping in different barracks. You're going to have kind of like your own little dorm apartment thing. Whereas people going through AIT for the first time will be in normal barracks and whatnot. But you don't have to go through MEPS and all that again to switch your MOS. But somebody's asking me, why did I change my name? So, real quick why I changed my name, it's better for branding purposes, and my Shoot 'em Up 89 was basically from my old channel name whenever I used to make Call of Duty videos, because my gamertag is Shoot 'em Up 1993, so I made my YouTube name Shoot 'em Up 89.
Enemy recon aircraft observed.
And so that doesn't have anything really to relate with what I'm doing now. So Matt Ward is more for branding.
Recon aloft. We have eyes in the sky. Enemy counterintelligence aircraft observed. Enemy recon aircraft observed. Skies clear.
That's so funny. But yeah, that's another thing. That's another reason I changed my name is for that. So like, you know, people, they hear the name Shoot 'em Up and they're just like, what is that? What does that mean? And, or, you know, if people want to look me up, you know, you have to like, kind of explain to them how to spell Shoot 'em Up. You know, is it Shoot Me Up? A lot of people will type in Shoot Me Up, but no. There's a lot of reasons, but the main one is for branding purposes in the future, because for those of you who haven't been around here on the channel for a long time, the channel's pretty much blowing up right now.
They're capturing Able.
Like I've said before, I'm the second fastest growing military channel.
Able is
So, and I mean, yeah, it's crazy. Like, I hit 10,000 subscribers on December 1st. It's January 7th right now, and I'm at 16,400 and something. So it's starting to get crazy, and so I mean in February I'm gonna hit 20,000. You know, it's gonna be crazy, and I wanted to make the change now for my name before, you know, it got even crazier. Yeah, Nava the Beast is first, but I mean he's got 200 and something thousand subscribers. Like, he is. I'm sure eventually I will. Like JT Suits. Yeah, I would like to do it with him because like, he does a lot of those, and you know sometimes he might do it with people who are out of shape. And I think, you know, I mean, am I the most in shape army YouTuber? I mean, Nick Bear is in really good shape, but he doesn't really do much army stuff anymore. But yeah, I would like to do some stuff, and I'm sure at some point in the future we will. Because I am communicating with a few other people, a few other big YouTubers, and like I said, like JT Suits has been like apparently like watching my live streams and stuff, and he's got, you know, like he's a Navy YouTuber, and he's got like 60-something thousand. But I think it would be pretty cool to collab with a lot of people, just to do like a collab video and then do like a video talking about their experiences and their advice. You know, Nava's in the Marines. I'm not in the Marines, so you know he could give a lot better advice for Marines basic than me. Yeah. Yeah, that'd be cool. Somebody's cocky. I'm not cocky. I'm confident. But I don't know what you're talking about being cocky with. Because if you're talking about me being cocky about physical fitness, it's just facts. You know? I can do a lot of push-ups. I can do a lot of sit-ups. I can run pretty fast. Those are facts. John Jacob. Yeah, running takes a lot of time.
Domination.
Yeah, one of the ways that I always looked at. Oh, really? Well, that's not that bad, but you'll get better at that when you join the army. Because something that I remember I explained to my little brother before he joined the army, and I was getting him ready. I told him, and this is true, when you get to AIT, not at basic training, because a lot of people when you get to basic training, their run times and their PT scores get really low. But when you get to AIT, a 14:30 2-mile run is considered slow. Right, so that's about a 7:15 mile pace for 2 miles, and that's considered slow. But that's because you've gone through basic training running until you're in shape for that. So if you're running a 15-minute 2-mile pace for your 2-mile run, you're going to be considered one of the slower people. So if you're not at that point now, don't be worried, because basic training will get you in that shape. But I think, like my brother, for example, he got a 300 on his PT test at basic. He didn't the first time. He got it on the second or third PT test, I think. But I think his 2-mile time, I think I got him, or he got it down to a little bit below 15 minutes. So he was a little bit below 15 minutes for his 2-mile run before basic. And then once he got to basic, during basic, he got his 2-mile down to, I actually think he got 13 flat for the 2-mile test. He got 13 on the dot. No, you're not going to do any bench press. You're not going to be doing any weight training at basic training. It's all going to be body weight stuff. If you do get to do any weights, you won't be able to know that right now, and it's not guaranteed. But if there are any weights at basic training, it's going to be like kettlebells or something. They might have a couple of them in your Bay Area. Wow, that dude just ran right past somebody. But you're not going to do any sorts of weightlifting. And you're especially not going to have the privilege of that, of weightlifting at the beginning of basic training. You're not going to have the privilege to do any of that stuff. So it took until about week 6 or 7 before we earned the privilege to be able to go downstairs and go do pull-ups and stuff on the pull-up bars. Because what I did previously was I got my little hand towels, and I did, me and my buddies that I got to do workouts with me, because you gotta remember, I got other people in my platoon to work out, and we did pull-ups on the bathroom stalls in the latrines. So that's what we did.
Enemy recon aircraft in the air.
Yeah, I've got like an old video of like how to physically prepare. I've got a video on like how to max the push-ups, so like a couple push-up tips. And these are like push-up tips that I use for getting ready for PT tests and all that stuff. But on all my Sunday push-up videos, I generally try to do some kind of physical tip in those. And then I think I made like a running tip video. You know, nothing is also like super complicated. Like if you're trying to prepare to be a bodybuilder or working on weightlifting and stuff like that, there's a lot of different tips, different things that you got to look into. But when you're preparing for the military, you're preparing for PT tests, it's not, you know, it's not that complicated, because when you're preparing for the PT test, you know exactly what you're going to have to do, and you can do that basically. So that's not too bad. And then preparing for basic, I've talked about that, like some of the things that you can do. Okay.
Enemy contact at Kaiser. Kaiser is taken. Counter-attack.
Yeah. Yep, you gotta keep your head up and move. Headshot. Yeah, they will not count your push-ups at basic if your head is looking down. How do I like the game? I like Call of Duty World War II a lot compared to the past few ones. I think I've played this Call of Duty. I'm on level 55 right now, but I think I played this Call of Duty twice as much as I did the past two. Actually, I take that back. I played Black Ops 2. I think I made it up to the first Prestige. Infinite Warfare, I think I only made it up to like level 20, and I was like, I can't do this crap. And I just played Remastered for a little bit.
Prepare for the next advance.
Yeah, I'm not doing all too great.
domination. Closing with Anton. Move out and take position. Hostiles enemy airdrop observed. Deny the enemy resupply. Resupply and press the attack. Anton locked down. Enemy recon aircraft in the air. Enemy controls B. Low altitude bomber inbound. Dropping incendiary.
Yeah. Alright, I just cut my mic off. But what's my favorite game? My favorite game is
Enemy
Call of
bomb
Duty.
incoming.
Specifically, I like Call of Duty 4. What was the other thing? Is software engineering boring? Only if you think it is.
Enemy anti-aircraft incoming. Ground all aircraft.
And then one more game like 2 hours ago. Yeah. Dang it.
Taking B. Incoming enemy artillery. Get to cover.
So I think they'll remaster Modern Warfare 2. The only thing is I hope they take out One Man Army. But other than that, I think it'd be a lot of fun. Shoot. Where's he at? But yeah, I kind of think the same thing. Do I know how to hack and code? Hacking is a much more general term than a lot of people think. So on a certain level, yes, I know how to hack, and yes, I know how to code.
Enemy bomber approaching. Incendiary bombs incoming.
But hacking can mean anything.
Recon flight concluded. Enemy contact at Anton.
Do I still talk to anyone from basic training in AIT, or did everyone split ways? I still talk to people from basic and AIT. I made one of my friends from AIT actually goes to my same college now, so I talk to him a lot more. But I still talk to him, but it's not like you're still gonna be best buddies unless you get stationed in the same place, because everybody, all my friends, like, we're all spread around the country, so we're friends on Facebook and Instagram and Snapchat and all that stuff, and sometimes, you know, might text each other and all that stuff, but it's, I mean, you can only communicate with somebody so much whenever, you know, you're on the other side of the world.
Securing Anton.
Fire coming from the cabin!
Oh, shit. Have you seen the Punisher TV series on Netflix? Nope.
B is lost.
Yeah, this is gonna be the last game. This is fun though.
Enemy taking A.
Shoot. I'm really surprised I've captured 6 flags.
Enemy holds all positions. Correct the situation. Enemy recon aircraft in the air.
Thompson, I don't know if I've used it. What types of programs do I write?
Enemy recon aircraft in the air.
It depends on the job. I mean, I make whatever my boss needs me to make. But usually kind of like files, and I deal with databases and a bunch of stuff that people don't understand. Alright, this is gonna be it. Dang, 2 hours. So I basically live streamed for 3 hours tonight. And it's 1:30, almost 1:30 in the morning. Shoot. And I got a lot of messages to get through. Do what? I would like to do some of these. I don't want to do this in place of a normal live stream, so what I would do would be something like what I did today, which is where I did like an hour live stream normal and then doing to this. But I would like to, but it might not happen all that much. So I don't know. Yeah, it was fun. Alright, let me get off of here. And I'm going to... I'll do the outro with you guys in the chat. So that'll be kind of fun. Do you do any freelance work? No. That was actually how I got the job that I have now. Was they hired me on as an independent contractor, and I did some stuff. And then a couple months later, they hired me on as an employee. So... But anyways, yep, that's going to be it for the stream. Thank you, everybody, for coming out to the stream. There's a lot more than I thought was going to come out for a gaming stream, so that's really cool. Yeah, thank you guys in the chat. I know everybody can't hear them, but yeah, this was a lot of fun. I would like to do this more, but that's kind of up in the air. I'm definitely going to try and stick to at least the one scheduled live stream that I do every week, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday at night. The gaming ones, I just got a lot of requests for it recently, so I decided to do that. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, that is awesome. You can hit that like button if you want to. But yeah, I'm super tired. It's almost 1:30 in the morning. I hope you guys have a great night, great day tomorrow, and I'll see you guys later.